Wow. Wow. Those Coen brothers really knew what they were doing with this film. No Country for Old Men. The film takes place in the summer of 1980, where Leland, played by Josh Brolin, while out hunting, comes across some dead bodies and a case full of cash. I mean, lots of it. This is saying this is a drug deal gone horribly wrong. So he takes the money and goes on the run. He tells his wife to go stay with her mother until he can figure this whole thing out, and he does his best to cover his tracks. And he is being relentlessly pursued by Anton Chigurh, a hitman, and he's played by Javier Bardem, very well, I must say, who is good at what he does, and he's very relentless, and also good at covering his tracks too. And he don't care what he has to go through to get to you. He doesn't care how many bodies he has to go through, and he'll go through a lot if he has to. And he's also being investigated by Sheriff Ed Tom Bell, played by Tommy Lee Jones. And you're wondering how this all will play out. Well, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this movie already, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, so you're going to have to see the movie to find out. Does this sound like an action film? Well, it's not really. There's very little action in it. Is it suspenseful? Yes, it is. And that's thanks to the Coen brothers. Because there's really no music being played throughout this movie. And the reason for that is it's just to give you a feel you don't know what's creeping up on you. You don't. And it's really thinking, and it's like a real feeling like, you don't know what's around every corner. You don't. You don't know who to trust, or you don't know who's who half the time. Josh Brolin is good in the role, but he really got overshadowed by Javier Bardem. I mean, he just practically stole the movie as Anton Chigurh, though this hitman who is just a real sociopath. I mean, he's just really good in the role. Javier Bardem said in interviews these scenes were very hard for him to do because he's not a violent man, and often described his character as just a guy who's just good at what he does. And not to mention the other cast are pretty good too, like Tommy Lee Jones is good as Ed Tom Bell, the sheriff, and he's just growing weary of this whole thing. And I bet you're wondering, where does the title No Country for Old Men mean? Well, it does get explained in a conversation that Tommy Lee Jones' character has with his Uncle Ellis, played by Barry Corbin. I mean, and there's a scene where Leland and Anton do have a nice little shootout scene. I also like the way this movie, just when you think it's going to be cliched and you think you know where the film's going, and then it goes a complete 180 on you, you totally didn't see that coming sort of feel. You thought you knew how this movie was going to go, then the movie just goes in a totally different direction. I like the way it avoids being cliched. I mean, it tries to make you think it's going to be cliched, and it basically says to you, "Fooled you!" Well, there's one character I wish we could have saw a little bit more of. That's Woody Harrelson's character, because I was really starting to like his character. I mean, he's introduced, and, well, I don't want to say what happens to him, in case you haven't seen this movie, but he just made that little small role he's in pretty memorable. I think the Coen brothers are geniuses when they did this movie. They really knew what they were doing, and this movie's not really about man being hunted, but it's just really about darkness glooming within a man's soul. I mean, how much you would bring down on your loved ones when you make a bad error in your own judgment. The 1980 setting was good. The desert setting was good. I mean, it gives you an old West feeling to the movie. So I give No Country for Old Men a 10 out of 10. Bye-bye.